As Richmond struggles to restore their previous form, Ted takes a risky action that has the potential to have a profoundly negative impact on the team's future. Ted, Coach Beard, and Roy introduce the players to a new style of play in the 7th episode, titled The Strings That Bind Us, which takes the group some time to grasp. However, Ted's unmatched faith in this new approach has the ability to influence Richmond's season. Sam is faced with an extraordinary difficulty while also getting some inspiration from his father. In the opening scene of the 7th episode, titled The Strings That Bind Us, Keely and Jack are introduced. Jack gives Keely a pricey book that is autographed by Jane Austen. Jamie Tart is still receiving considerable instruction from Roy Kent. Sam stops by his restaurant and plans his father's trip to London. When Sam discovers that UK Home Secretary Brenda Barra opposes immigrants entering the nation via canals on boats, he becomes sidetracked. Coach Beard presents a lecture on total football to the players at the Richmond training facility. Ted makes the announcement that the team would be studying the total football style of play following Coach Beard's explanation. In order to implement total football, Roy gets the team ready and lays up a 2-month plan. Ted, however, is adamant about using the tactic against Arsenal. The idea of trying a novel technique unnerves the players, but Ted implores them to do so. Keely struggles in the meantime to keep her relationship with Jack a secret from her co-workers. Keely and Jack consequently tell the staff about their romance. Nate struggles with asking Jade out on a date and seeks advice from his mother and sister in other scenes. Ted instructs the players in the 4 total football fundamentals during the practice session, but only the first 3, conditioning, versatility, and awareness, are made public. On the first day, Roy subjects the crew to painful physical exercise. During their lunch date, Keely and Rebecca talk about their most recent love encounter. Rebecca cautions Keely to be wary of Jack's extravagant love gestures. Nevertheless, Sam, in the meantime, tweets about Barra's anti-immigrant stance, drawing rebuke from the lawmaker. Nate works up the courage to propose to Jade. Roy switches the players' places on the second training day to help them get a better understanding of one another's responsibilities. Ted, however, permits Jamie to continue playing forward. Trent has doubts about Ted's plan to change the team's strategy in the middle of the season, especially in light of Richmond's recent struggles. The new playing style has left the players bewildered and disoriented in the meanwhile. Roy ties the players to one another with strings on the 3rd day to increase their awareness. Ted does, however, privately concede to Trent that he hasn't yet identified the 4th factor that will determine whether or not his new approach is successful. When Sam returns to his restaurant later, a vengeful mob has destroyed it. Before training, Sam is dejected when Sam's father, Mr. Obisanya, comes in London and greets him. Sam's father, on the other hand, exhorts him to forget those who wronged him and reopen the eatery for the benefit of those who long for their own England. In addition, Mr. Obisanya introduces Ted to Sam and urges her to take part in training. Keely urges Jack to stop giving her expensive gifts because she wants to repay him. The weekend will soon be here, and AFC Richmond will play an informed Arsenal team using their new playing strategy. The closing scene of the program features a league match between AFC Richmond and Arsenal. Mr. Obisanya greets Rebecca and Keely in the background. Following the kickoff, Richmond's shift in strategy is obvious. Richmond's inability to control the play style they are using is fully exploited by Arsenal. The players also appear to be entirely out of touch with one another and commit several errors. Richmond makes mistakes, which Arsenal takes advantage of by scoring 3 goals in the first half. Richmond scores no goals in the first half and appears to be a shadow of their former self. Roy and Coach Beard discuss switching back to their standard 4-2-2 formation and direct style of play at the squad meeting at halftime. Ted shares with the players the tale of how he came to have his recognizable facial hair. He tells the participants that sometimes a brilliant idea is concealed by a few terrible ones. Jamie is inspired to express his opinion after hearing the pep talk, and he advises switching to a playmaker position in the middle of the field to direct the action and act as a bridge between the offense and defense. In the second half, Richmond executes a brilliant total football play that leads to an incredible goal. Richmond ultimately loses the game, but the goal they scored shows that total football can succeed, especially since Ted has already instilled its essential principles in the players. Sam finally shows his father his restaurant, which he has dubbed Ola's in his father's honor. Sam is shocked to see his teammates working to renovate the eatery, though. The story comes to a triumphant conclusion with the players enjoying a great team supper. Demonstrating that total football is a concept that they have unwittingly adopted, rather than merely a style of play. Therefore, it is just a matter of time before it manifests in their on-field performances.